Well, I think they are, well, I don't think they are 100% to blame for the scenario. But sure, that's no good to hear for Munster fans who that's just it's you suffered a tough defeat, and you hear that the third try goes in when the fourth official mixed with some noise coming from Leinster sideline have managed to handicap you and have you down an extra man for 6 or 7 minutes. I suppose how what can you do from a Munster perspective? Giving out about the official doesn't get you anywhere because you can't control it. It's done. I think from their point of view, the learning is having someone on the touchline who is uh, knows the rule book inside out and is not leaving it up to the competence of a fourth official to understand what needs to happen in that scenario. And I think the best teams don't miss those sorts of moments. And in fairness, kind of Joe Schmidt was probably the first taster that I've had of someone who knew the rules better than the refs, never mind the fourth officials themselves. So I think that's probably the learning for Munster, as hard as it is for all of the supporters and everything like that. Now, I think, you know what, it's in the bigger scheme of things, if they can learn from this and it helps them in a bigger game, it's not a bad time to learn that lesson. But, um, from the point of view of growth for Munster, it's making sure that when that scenario happens again, or some version of that scenario happens again, that they're able to know 100% in the moment that the fourth official is wrong and get the message on the pitch to not play on until it's rectified. And that is the short and long of it, really. Of it's very frustrating when if I put myself in the shoes of both the team and the supporters, but you can't control what refs do in the moment. So all you can control is your sideline and understanding of the rule book, and no, definitely not allowing the chatter of the opposition team to affect what happens on the field. Whether they're telling the truth or not, you can't be leaving it up to them. It's being nailed down on your own detail of the rules, and stuff like that doesn't happen because the game's hard enough without having to do it with 14 men.
I'm pretty positive that all of our listeners are on top of this story, but just in case you didn't read Murray Kinsella's piece yesterday with Tapa Henning, Tapa is the head of officials for the URC, and he came out and clarified the situation from their perspective. And among the interesting quotes, as he explained it, was that there was a lot of discussion that happened, whether it was a temporary replacement for Barron, basically, and whether that should be allowed, whether it shouldn't be allowed. And Henning said there were officials from Leinster that said it shouldn't be allowed because of this and that. So in the process, it took longer than we would have liked to see. In the meantime, play continued and kickoff was taken while they were determining the fact and making sure they were in the right position to inform. Sorry, my screenshot is actually cut off short. People get the message though. But you're saying that, like, I can imagine a lot of Munster fans would be pissed off with how you've contextualized it there, that there is that kind of a side to it where perhaps they weren't on top of the situation to the best of their knowledge as well. So, like, I guess if Munster fans read the piece, a lot of them will see, oh, Leinster officials were shouting. It's like, why are they getting involved? Like, what is their role in this? Probably important to clarify that, like, in that situation, no matter which teams are involved, the opposition are going to be giving lip and making things complicated and trying to confuse things. Par for the course, like, that is not an issue exclusive to Leinster. But, like, is it you're theorizing, I suppose, that just that maybe Munster weren't exactly sure as to what was going on as well, and that this isn't solely on the officials, the match officials, I should say.
No, what I'm saying is they definitely weren't on top of it because it took for entry to come to the sideline to clear up the situation. But it's out of their control, the competence of the referee. So I'm saying it's 100% the fourth official's fault, but that's no good to Munster. So what can they control is the knowledge of their touchline manager, who's the conduit from Graham Roundtree to the fourth official, and Roundtree clearly knew the ruling because it took for him to come down to rectify it. So whoever that touchline manager is, it's the only thing that Munster can control is knowing that that person knows the rule book inside out and wouldn't allow play to continue when someone has made an error, whether it be a fourth official or there's a debate going on about something, and whether the touchline manager, okay, let's just assume that they did know the ruling. Well, then the next time they don't allow the debate to happen while play continues, that at least they know if they know the ruling, they know that it's wrong. Okay, so let's assume that they do know that okay, the next time they won't just stand there debating and allow the kickoff to happen, that they will get the message on the field to Tyburn, who will tell the ref, we're not playing, we're not kicking this ball off, and this is why. I think that's my point. I'm not saying so yes, sorry. I'm assuming incompetence from the touchline on the Munster side. I don't know that. They could have known the rule, but it's the process of how they went around it is the learning. So whether they weren't 100% on the ruling or whether it was that they got caught up in the moment and weren't thinking about the impact of kicking what the kicking off would have. That's the area of growth for them. Isn't there's no I'm trying to look at some positive spin on a shit sandwich. It is a shit sandwich, and that is just the fact of it. It's just, it's either you learn, you either you sit there and feel sorry for yourself, or you learn from it, and that's the only way that I can wrap my hand around trying to take some sort of learning away from this scenario for Munster. It's still not great. It's not what you want. It's the damage is already done, but I feel like if they're able to get a process in there where this never happens again to a Munster side, I don't think it's the end of the world in a game that's not that significant in the terms of the season. Why not? Get a good process in there that will be bulletproof and just mitigate like crap like this happening, because it's just so frustrating. And I can imagine I'm on the other side of it, and I can actually imagine you'd be pulling your hair out.
So the UFC have vowed for it not to happen again to begin with, and hopefully no team is in this situation again. But
But exactly, yeah, but they can't guarantee that because the fourth official on the day didn't mean to
exactly
to do it. It's just it's a moment of incompetence that human error happens, and that's just the reality of things. And unfortunately, Munster just weren't ready to deal with it in the appropriate way that they could have stopped the game before it was rectified. And again, let's assume they all did know the ruling. Well, they just didn't go about preventing the continue of play, and that's a learning for them that going forward, I'm sure they'll fix.
Do you think though that if they'd gotten a word on to Tyburn from the sideline, do not restart play, and he had made that point, or he had proposed that to Chris Busby, that Busby would have actually stopped the play? Like, because my feeling on that would be like Busby would be like, "What are you talking about? We're playing on." Like referees are under pressure to actually allow the game to continue. Really, nearly always.
I'd be pretty shocked. Like, in fairness to any referee that I've been on the field with, when it's to do with a fourth official or a ruling, they will tend to, especially when there's a very easy break in play, like a kickoff where it's your kickoff. It's not like you're at the mercy of the other team to stop. It's like you have the ball. They usually will chat to you around that, and especially if it's coming from the captain. I would have been I'd be 99.9% confident that he would have listened and jogged over to see what the melee was about, and given the you'd hope his understanding of the rule book, that he would have resolved the situation before Roundtree would have had to enter. So yeah, it's for me, it's just about getting the system in place where when shit hits the fan over grey area, that you have a plan at least, because these things just tend to pop up every couple of seasons, or it could be in 5 years' time, but at least it happened in a game that, as I said, it's not a knockout game. It's not going to be a season defining game for Munster. It's just hopefully just a learning day for them, and one they can move on from. And other teams, like, will look at that and be like, okay, well, if that happened to us, what would we do? And I guarantee you that happened on Sunday or Monday morning in Leinster as well. But like, right, if that scenario came our way, how would we deal with it? And unfortunately, it's just a shit one for Munster and their fans.